welcome Jack Ma.
And I told the people at that time, I say, if you miss the opportunity of selling your products to the world, to the USA, to the Europe, you may miss the chance. And today I want to tell the people that if you miss the opportunity of selling your products to China, you will miss the opportunity, you will miss the future.
Next year, China will be a larger market than all other markets combined. The single biggest market in the world. Tell me about the encounter with the internet when you first saw it.
Yeah, I went to the Seattle, and a friend of mine, he had a small office with like 4 or 5 computers. I never touched computer in my life before because computer was so expensive to me and so complicated. But my friend said, this is internet. Just to type in whatever word you want to type. I said, no, too expensive. I don't know which one to do. Even now, I don't know how a computer works. So he said, Jack, it's not a bomb, just to type whatever. So the first word I typed in was beer. B-E-R, beer. I don't drink, I don't know why I typed a beer. I found American beer, German beer, Japanese beer, no China. So I typed the word China. There's no information about China. So I say, what if we can make some China information on the internet? After 2 hours of explaining what I'm going to do internet, and 23 of them say, forget it. He said, this thing never worked because there's no such thing called internet in the world. You know nothing about a computer, so why you want to do this? And only one people, he said, Jack, if you want to try it, just to try it. But if there's something wrong, just come back. And after a whole night thinking, I say, I still want to do it. Because most of the people, they have a fancy ideas in the evening, but in the day, when they wake up in the evening or in the morning, they go back to do the same job. We have to do something different. So from there, I started my business borrowing $2,000 from my relatives and friends. So that was my trip. I call myself like a blind man riding on the back of blind tigers. And those people who are expert of riding horses, they all fall down, and I'm still surviving. That was the concept. So 1999, I started Alibaba in my apartment. I told the investors, we've been believing customer number 1, employee number 2, shareholder number 3. And people say this is against our American investor philosophy. I remember one of the investors said, hey, Jack, you know, if I know you are shareholder number 3, I would not have bought your stocks. I say, sir, please sell it. Because I believe there is so much money in the world, there is too much money in the world, but we only need the money who believe in our vision and mission. Because I believe if the customer are happy, employees are happy, the shareholders will be happy. But if the shareholders are happy, may not necessarily customer happy, and may not necessarily your employee will be happy.
When you look,
we waited for 3 days, nobody come to spy, and then the next week we start to spy and sell ourselves. For the first week, all the sales was among ourselves, and then another week later, somebody started testing sell. For almost 30 days, everything people sell, we all buy them. So we have a whole house of rubbish we bought online. Try to making sure that, so those guys who are able to sell say, oh wow, this thing really can sell things. Then more people start to come to sell, and then we serve better, and that comes. So from there to now, $550 billion. They spend too much time on making their boss happy rather than their customer happy. They spend too much time on competing, not long-term strategy. So as the entrepreneur, the always number one number one priority is customer and employee. When I retired from CEO position, I told my CEO and teams, I promise when I'm a chairman, I'm still learning to be a chairman. I thought I would become a chairman when a company is big. I should have more free time, play golf on the beaches. But I found, oh my God, I fly 870 hours in the air last year, and this year 1,000 hours in the air. Three things. The first thing I would do is I would making sure our company is a mission-driven company. Mission and a vision-driven company. We have to making sure the whole company believing we are building up an economy that can empower every small business. Young people, women, they can easily do business through internet. This is number one. So I'm talking to everybody in the company I meet. I remember there was a guy called David Wong. That was early days when I came to America. Talk about the internet, about the value mission of the company. This guy sitting there, he was working for Fortune 500. He said, Jack is a crazy guy. How could you, a company has no business model, no money, and talk about the mission, vision, and value. I say, David, come to my company. So I came to China, spent 3 days in my company. When he leave, he said, Jack, I found you are crazy. Now I found 100 crazy guys in your company. They all talk and seem like you. A company, if you have 100 crazy guys, we do not think we are crazy. We think the outside world are crazy.
Yeah.
So this is very, very important. And also, I think for the first 3 years of Alibaba, we had no revenue, no business model. And I told the team, forget about the money, revenue today. If you want to be a long-term company, the only thing think about is customers. The best revenue for our first 1 or 2 years, the best revenue is what? It's the email of thanks. That's the best revenue. If the customer sends you an email saying, you are great. I was so happy early days when I went to a small restaurant, people will pay my bill. And with a small note to say, Jack, thank you very much. I know you do not make money, but we made a lot of money through your website.
Yeah.
And today I give a lot of advice to my colleagues. When they hire people, there's one judge. Look at the young man. If you think he will be your boss, he will be my boss in 5 years, hire him. Do not find people who will follow you all the time. So as a teacher, you want this student become a banker, this is a scientist, there's a mayor. You don't want this student bankrupt, that is in jail. So this is the way that I benefit. And then when I become a CEO, I call myself Chief Education Officer. And I love to talk, I love to share, because when as a teacher, you may not know a lot of things. The only things you learn and you share. People may not like the way I talk. And my job is not to make people happy. My job is to make people think. This is the way we did. If it is helpful for you, take it. If it's not helpful for you, just forget it. So I love to be with the entrepreneurs, because you guys reminds me the past 18 toughest years that we've got. And I believe one thing, I'd give my advice to all of you, as an entrepreneur, today is very difficult, and tomorrow is even more difficult. But the day after tomorrow is very beautiful. Most people die tomorrow evening. You have to work hard, you have to learn, you have to rely on your team. And that's my business. I like to be a teacher.
I was going to ask you about legacy, but I'm not going to ask you about legacy because I think you just summed it up yourself. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. Jack Ma, thank you.
Thank you.